Now, if it is, and the first thing you need to know is whether you need power wherever you are going. So that is what we are starting. Location is number one. You need to know where you want this land from. And location also includes where you need the land to be next to the main road, or you want to be some meters or kilometers away. Remember, land that is next to the main road, whether it is this all-weather road like this one, remember, land that is next to farmland that is next to that road is slightly expensive than land that is interior. The further you go, the cheaper it becomes. So you need to know that. Now remember also that some vendors, some sellers of land may ask you for a commitment fee, which may be non-refundable. So you need to know whether you are willing to commit a fee which is non-refundable. Now, some lawyers, if you are buying through people selling their own land, it is okay. But if you are going to do it through, let's say, lawyers sometimes ask for penalty. Let's say you promise to pay on this time, and then you default. Sometimes lawyers put in clauses that entitle their client to some penalties. Now the third thing is the purpose. What is the purpose of this? Because whatever purpose you want the land for will determine even what we will go to next, which is the topography, the purpose. I want land for farming, that is production. Perhaps I want land for value addition. Value addition, mostly those are people who are in warehousing. They wouldn't mind much about the fertility of the soil. They are minding much about the location. For you who are going into horticulture, you are minding much about the fertility. For example, most land is either milo, freehold, leasehold, or customary. Milo in freehold, you buy it and own it in perpetuity, subject to government coming up with the laws, where government may say a road has to pass here, perhaps we need to put a hospital here, or any other institution. In that case, government may compensate you and take the land. Choose. Will I go for the land, Milo, where I'll own in perpetuity? Or I go for land which is leasehold, where I'm going to have a contract with the owner, perhaps for this number of years. Or alternatively, you may say, I'm going to buy land in an area where, mostly in the villages, up country, where most people buy farmland. That is customary land. Now, some customary land, you buy it through contracts. Now, in other customary land, you will find they even have a customary certificate, where they went and applied for a certificate through the committee, then the board, and the land was able to obtain a certificate. In that case, those ones will give you a certificate. Now, for those who don't have certificate, at least you will find that you can buy through, they have an agreement, and this agreement has witnesses. Another thing that is very important is, whom are you buying this land from? Now, you need to understand, for example, that when you are buying land, you can buy from a company. Most times, I'm talking now the practice. You can buy from a company, you can buy from a couple, you can buy the land from administrators, or you can buy the land from just an individual. Now, be careful when you are buying land from administrators. Administrators give you the indication that there is a bigger family behind this. There are more beneficiaries to this land. So make sure you sit down with the administrator or their contacts, so that they bring the whole family. Before you buy this land, you ensure that all stakeholders within this family, all of them, you've tried to meet them or to meet their influencers, the people who speak for them or who represent them. Because sometimes you buy land and you pay administrators, and then the family comes later to tell you, we didn't know. By the way, the practice is, and this practice is done mostly by Indians. The practice I've seen with Indian clients is they even tell you, bring the family members, let them open accounts so that our lawyer deposits money directly to their accounts. You are buying this land, what is the size? If you are buying land from the village, these are things you have to know. This road, next to the road, there is the road reserve. They will give you a road reserve. Sometimes they give you 10 feet, sometimes they give you 5 feet, sometimes they give you 20 feet. Now, when they are giving you the road reserve, despite the fact that it is a road reserve, make sure this road reserve is in the agreement. I'll demonstrate. Assuming the road reserve is from here, towards there, let's say 10 feet. Let them put this road reserve in the agreement. You know they have given you a road reserve, but let it be in the agreement. And the reasons are two. Number one, if you don't put the road reserve in an agreement, supposing a squatter comes and squatters, and a squatter comes and squatters on that path, which is not part of the agreement, what will you say? Where will you get the legal status to claim this is my area? Because it's not part of the agreement, it's not about what you bought. Now, another thing is, should in future you decide to build the land, to construct the land, to tarmac the land, and there are any excavations they do that seems to intrude into your land. Now, the documents, if you are buying Milo land, most likely there will be a title. Sometimes there is a print, meaning somebody's just still processing the title, but there will be a title. Now, if it is a title, as you look at the documents, this is the 9th thing you should do, is you have to look at, for example, is this land in acres or hectares? For example, if the land is in hectares, you can multiply by 2.47 to convert it into decimals. And remember, 100 decimals is 1 acre. 50 decimals, that is half an acre. Now, when you are converting these documents, now you can be able to make a determination to know, okay, this is what I'm buying. I'm buying, let's say, 2 acres, 3 acres, 10 acres of this land. But that is not enough. Then, when your surveyor is confirming, when your surveyor is opening the boundaries, at the stage where we are looking at size, that's the point where your surveyor will be opening the boundaries. When surveyor is opening the boundaries, the surveyor's opening of the boundaries is to compare the figure he got of the size with what is reflected on the title. There is an assumption by some clients that the moment I look at the title and I see I have 5 acres, 10 acres, 50 acres, that is what is on the ground. No. Make sure you confirm that what is on the ground by the surveyor opening boundaries confirms what is in the title. Sometimes there is a variation. Now, when there is a variation, go back to the vendor, to the person selling the land, and tell him, look, your land on the ground doesn't match. Perhaps part of the land was carved out by a road. It's part of the road. Or alternatively, part of the land could have, it is reflected on the title, but on the ground, it is not there. Then you can go to the vendor and say, please, I would wish to renegotiate this agreement before I pay. Now, in that case, the easiest way of renegotiating is to convert. You try and do your own mathematics. You convert these decimals. You look at the market rate, convert it into decimals. I'll give you an example. Assuming an acre is 5 million. So you divide 5 million by 100 decimals, and you know how much a decimal costs around here, the approximate figure of a decimal. Now the moment you know the approximate figure of their decimal, then you go back to the owner and try to renegotiate this land and say, look, you sold to me this land and it is less by maybe this acreage or this number of decimals. I would wish to negotiate, and this will give you the guidance on what your offer will be. Now remember that at this time of inquiring into documents, you also need to know, you need to look at some things. For example, on the title, you need to look at the title and say, look, is this person the registered owner? If he's not a registered owner, because some clients, the practice is with some people, they speculate. They buy land with the intention to sell. Now, when they are buying with the intention to sell, they just get the transfer forms. They get the transfer forms. They get a mutation in case the land, the mutation forms. Then they sign the mutation forms. Then they also get a photocopy of the ID, and then they also sign the photocopy of the ID. Then they also get passport photos of the person who is selling. But they don't transfer. Some of them don't transfer because they know they have intentions of selling to someone else. Look, is this the registered owner? No. If he's not the registered owner, so where are these documents? Where is the signed copy? Where is the photocopy of the ID of the seller? Where are passport photos of the seller? Where are signed transfer forms of the seller? Signed, let's say, mutation forms, if there is need for subdivision. Then try and tell the vendor that you will need, because this land is not registered in your names, you will need the seller or this vendor to be a witness to this transaction. Witnesses who will be part of this transaction depends. If you see that the person who is registered is an administrator, then it tells you you need witnesses here. If you see the person who is selling is a man, by the way, a man, but the man who is selling family land. This is a family home. Please, pursuant section 38 and 39 of the Land Act, make sure that the wife is a witness to this. The wife consents to the sale of this land. If you know it's family land, that has to be done. And that is all for today's topic. That is all for today. And then I just want to tell people that you need to subscribe to this channel so that in future you can be able to watch more videos on this. Thank you.